responded to the minority, writing, "As for the dissents, they strike a tone of chilling doom that is wholly disproportionate to what the court actually does today."
President Biden and former President Trump had their first debate last Thursday. NTD's BJ King took to the streets to ask people what they thought about the event.
The first presidential debate aired Thursday, where President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump argued which one of them Americans should vote for this November. We're here on the street talking to everyday citizens about if they saw the debate and if it influenced their views. One topic consistently raised was people's concern about Biden's health.
I don't think he could last for more years in the office because of his inability to have a thought. Because he stopped many times, and that's scary. And what if some disasters happening during, a crisis happens in the United States? Is he going to be able to make sound decisions?
However, most
Hasn't
people
made
felt
sound
unsatisfied
decision
with
yet.
Trump and Biden as candidates.
To me, at this point, I'm just looking at the vice presidents, who they are going to be.
But I just think it was just an unfair setup last night. And I think, if the public hasn't already decided, I think that last night might have changed their minds.
One young man who hadn't watched the televised event felt that watching the next round would help develop his voting decisions this coming election. Are you going to be voting this November for who's going to be president?
I am thinking about it because, I haven't. I do have, I have my family telling me, it is my ancestors fought for this privilege. So he said, why not, return the favor in doing so?
The Biden and Trump campaigns have agreed to one more debate, which will be hosted by ABC News on September 10th. BJ Kang, NTD News, California.
Not everyone can afford homes, especially in California. People who build the homes can't afford them either. NTD speaks with some local leaders in San Francisco to find out their thoughts on the city.
Some people are unhappy with how their city's situation is, such as the case with San Francisco and its homelessness and housing crisis.
It's cruel to see people living on the streets. So we are all for building housing for those individuals and getting them off the streets. We just want to make sure that our building trades workers don't get left out when they're building that housing. Our building trades workers should be building that housing, and those jobs shouldn't be shipped out to other parts of the state or the country or the world.
Former interim mayor Mark Farrell says the city needs much change and says he's eyeing to focus on labor.
First of all, to focus on public safety and cleaning up the streets. When you do that, you create an environment where companies, employees might want to come back.
Tax credits are currently available for certain businesses that open physical locations. To boost economic growth, Farrell pointed to tax incentives from 2010.
To actually encourage companies to relocate back to San Francisco, to encourage employers to mandate that their employees come to work at least 4 days a week.
In addition to property,
4
residents
days a
also
week.
complained about the standard of living.
When I hear from merchants and residents in Chinatown every single day, we need public safety. We need to clean up the streets. We need to make sure the drug crisis isn't spilling out into every single neighborhood. And that we actually address it and make a difference inside of City Hall.
This year, crime has become a top issue in the state, with lawmakers introducing bills to curb crime rates. On Monday, California's governor announced new measures to tackle theft and fentanyl narcotics. David Lamb, NTD News.
Y'all allowing them to steal $950 a day.
But here's a look at what we have for you when we come back. Curb migration through the Darien Gap. More on the agreement. 200 missing children found as a result of a 6-week operation of the U.S. Marshal Service. Independence Day is nearing, and we have spotlighted some of the top places in the nation to celebrate. Those stories and more coming up on NTD Tonight.
Hi, folks. Do you trust this economy? What if you could receive a strong fixed rate of return that's not correlated to the stock market or the Fed? And what if you were in control? You could turn your income on or off, compound it, whatever you choose. What if your interest was compounded daily, you were paid monthly, and there were absolutely no fees? And what if you could have peace of mind because there was no attack on your principal if you ever needed your money back? Well, folks, there is an investment with all of these features. Investors all over the country are earning a high fixed rate of return with Y-Refi, and they don't care about what happens with the stock market or the Fed. And best of all, they receive their statement every month with no surprises. Would you like some more information? Just call 877-80-INVEST. That's 877-80-INVEST. Or log on to investyrefi.com. That's investyrefi.com. Y-Refi, do well by doing good.
Come to Mathis Home for the Monumental Savings Event and get big values on the latest dining sets. Here's a hot buy. This table and 4 side chairs is only $442. Shop and compare. Nobody beats Mathis Home. Or this 72-inch table is a great value at just $670 with a genuine white marble top. Check out this mid-century modern set. You get the table and 4 chairs all for just $698. Shop now and save during the Monumental Savings Event at Mathis Home.
Freedom is not free, and neither is the truth. In order to bring you the facts, our reporters are on the front lines getting the true story. Some of them served 10 years of prison in China. We've been censored on social media. Our Hong Kong printing offices were set on fire, and we've been repeatedly attacked by the Chinese Communist Party. But no matter what, we believe that you deserve the truth, and so we'll continue to bring the truth to light. Head on over to getepic.com and try honest journalism that is based in truth and tradition. We'd love to have you on board.
Do you know that Cars for Compassion is the best way to donate your car? Through this non-profit program, you can not only help us keep bringing the world independent and daringly truthful journalism, but also significantly impact the life of somebody who needs a vehicle. The Epoch Times fights misinformation and big tech censorship by being independent and unbound to advertising. Every single contribution to Cars for Compassion is a powerful endorsement of our unwavering mission. All you have to do is go to carsforcompassion.org and let us know about your car, and we'll schedule a pickup time and email you a tax-deductible receipt. To do this, just click the link below. Support truth, compassion, and hope. Donate your car right now at www.carsforcompassion.org.
Got a new house.
I think I found a place that I call home.
Welcome back to NTD Tonight. I'm your host, David Zhang. The U.S. and Panama have signed an immigration deal that aims to close the Darien Gap. The treacherous jungle passage connects Colombia and Panama, and it's a key route for migrants hoping to reach the U.S. Panama's new president was sworn in yesterday, and he said Panama will no longer be a transit country for illegal immigration. NTD's Jeremy Sandberg has more on the immigration deal.
Panama's new president, Jose Raul Molino, took office on Monday promising to curb illegal immigration.
I won't allow Panama to be an open path for thousands of people who enter our country illegally, supported by an international organization related to drug trafficking and human trafficking.
Molino's new foreign minister signed a memorandum of understanding with the U.S. after the address. The U.S. agreed to cover the cost of repatriating migrants who enter Panama illegally in the deal. The memorandum also says the U.S. would support Panama with equipment, transportation, and logistics to enforce immigration laws. Panama's government says the memorandum allows closing off illegal immigration through the Darien Gap. The mountainous rainforest region connects South and Central America and is a dangerous route for migrants hoping to reach the U.S. Panama's National Migration Service says more than 500,000 people crossed the corridor last year, most from Venezuela, Ecuador, Colombia, and China. This year, more than 190,000 people have already crossed. Molino also promised Monday to boost job and economic growth while addressing Panama's debt. Jeremy Sandberg, NTD News.
Hundreds of missing children have been found across the U.S. as part of a 6-week national operation by the U.S. Marshal Service.
children found, 173 were endangered runaways, 25 were considered otherwise missing, 1 was a family abduction, and 1 was a non-family abduction. The youngest child recovered was 5 months old. 14 children were found outside the city where they went missing, and 57% of the missing children recovered were located within 7 days of United States Marshal Service involvement. U.S. Marshal Service Director Ronald Davis said in a statement Monday, "Whenever a child is missing, whether we cannot explain how they went missing, whether we think it was a family abduction, or whether it's a runaway, they are at risk of being in danger and at risk of being trafficked, at risk of being hurt." The operation took place in cities in Arizona, California, Florida, Michigan, North Carolina, New York, and Oregon. Officials report that the Phoenix area saw the highest number of children rescued during the 6-week operation. However, they acknowledge that these rescues are just scratching the surface. Christina Corona, NTD News.
A national divide is emerging among states over whether to track sales by gun stores. Opponents say implementing it will help flag suspicious gun-related purchases to potentially avert mass shootings and other crimes. Opponents say it could lead to unwanted suspicion for gun buyers who have not done anything wrong.
A new California law taking effect July 1st
David,
will
California.
require credit card networks to provide banks with special retail codes to assign to gun stores. Advocates hope it will help flag suspicious purchases and avert mass shootings. By contrast, new laws taking effect in Georgia, Iowa, Tennessee, and Wyoming will prohibit the use of special gun shop codes in financial transactions.
What we're advocating for with this code is closing one of those exemptions where the gun industry is not treated like every other business, even though it should be.
Viewed most benignly, this is an effort to use the private sector to do an end run around the prohibition on the federal government's building of a registry of gun owners.
A total of 17 states have now passed some sort of limits on category codes for gun retailers. California is joined by Colorado and New York. The conflicting laws highlight what's quietly emerged as one of the nation's newest gun policy debates, dividing state capitals along familiar partisan lines. Some Democratic lawmakers and gun control activists hope the new retail tracking code will help financial institutions flag suspicious gun-related purchases for law enforcement agencies. But many Republican lawmakers and gun rights activists fear the new retail codes could lead to unwarranted suspicion of gun buyers who have done nothing wrong.
This is a normal, protected, lawful activity, and to carve it out as something that needs to be identified and data mined for evil really sets a very bad tone for how gun ownership, lawful gun ownership, is viewed, while simultaneously adding zero predictive value in its stated purpose of detecting patterns that mass shooters may engage in.
Eldred says the new merchant code also could lead more people to buy guns with cash instead of credit in order to protect their privacy. Even with a firearms store code, it won't be possible to know whether a particular sale is for a rifle, ammunition, storage safe, or some other product, such as hunting apparel.
The 4th of July is only days away, and Wallet Hub evaluated the 100 largest U.S. cities to determine where you can have the most holiday fun on a budget. NTD's Christina Corona highlights some of the best and worst cities to celebrate the holiday.
With 4th of July approaching, Wallet Hub surveyed some of the best places in the nation to celebrate our independence. Wallet Hub's analysis includes 18 key metrics, such as average beer and wine prices, the length of fireworks shows, and the 4th of July weather forecast. Top 5 cities for 4th of July celebrations are Los Angeles, California, New York, New York, Seattle, Washington, Las Vegas, Nevada, and Minneapolis, Minnesota. Wallet Hub named Los Angeles the best city for 4th of July celebrations, partly due to its high number of party supply stores per capita. The analysis showed Los Angeles residents searched Google for terms related to July 4th more than people in most other cities. New York is the second best city for Independence Day celebrations and the third most popular travel destination. It also has the most affordable 4.5-star restaurant restaurants, perfect for those not hosting barbecues or just visiting. Seattle ranks as the third best city for July 4th celebrations, featuring the third longest fireworks display among the 100 cities studied. Loretto, Texas, Aurora, Colorado, and Birmingham, Alabama rank last on the list for 4th of July celebrations, with Birmingham, Alabama having the highest DUI-related fatalities per capita. We asked Los Angeles residents what their holiday plans are.
My sister is actually in a show that's opening on the 4th, so I'll be there with her. It's called The Lincolns of Springfield, about Abraham Lincoln, so it's only fair that they open on the 4th of July. So I'm actually a singer-songwriter, and I'm playing at this party that my friends are putting on, so that'll be kind of fun.
Whether you're having a backyard barbecue, attending a parade, or watching the fireworks, have a safe 4th of July holiday. Christina Corona, NTD News, Los Angeles.
With teammates younger than his son, Andy McDonald prepares for an Olympic debut as the oldest skateboarder in Paris. But the 50-year-old reckons he can still teach them a trick or two.
Andy McDonald was announced Monday as a teammate to world champion Sky Brown, age 15, and Lola Tambling, 16. The first male skateboarder to represent Britain at a Games is unfazed by the age gap, but amazed to have gotten so far.
It feels pretty surreal. It was a long shot for me to get to this point. I never thought that I would actually qualify for the Games when I started this process 2.5 years ago.
He secured his berth at the last chance in a qualifier in Budapest last week. McDonald feels he has something to offer, can learn something in return.
I have an advantage in that I have obviously much more experience in skating in competition and what it takes to mentally prepare, physically prepare.
He's also a father of 2 daughters and a son. His daily routine has been one of school runs, homework, and after-class activities, as well as skateboarding.
From the get-go, it was always like, can you do this? Can you be an Olympic athlete and still be the dad and like the most important stuff, the most important things, raising my kids. So I've been able to do both. So that's, for me, the biggest accomplishment.
McDonald is the record holder for most X Games medals in vert skateboarding, competing with American greats Tony Hawk and Shaun White.
Stay tuned for China in Focus with Tiffany Meyer coming up next. A growing threat in America's backyard. Satellite images show Cuba expanding spy facilities, and the new report says they could serve as Beijing's ears if the regime gets a hold of them. More on China in Focus with Tiffany Meyer at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And that's all we've got for you tonight. We would like you to join us again on NTD Tonight every weekday at 9 p.m. I'm David Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.